When I think of Conan, I think of the curator. Although I was scared when I watched it, but I can't help but watch it. Now I'll bring you back to your childhood memories. The library murder incident. There were 4 adults and 4 children in the elevator, but the elevator was overloaded. They had no choice. They had no choice but to run down the stairs. Soon after, they ran into Inspector Takagi, who was on a case. The night before last, Tameda from the library suddenly disappeared. After investigation, the place where she disappeared was in the library. But the strange thing is, the police searched the library, but they found nothing. Conan's lenses flashed. His intuition told him that Tameda was in the library. The 4 of them hid in a locker in the library until midnight, when everyone was gone. Then they came out to investigate. Who knows, just walking down the corridor, the elevator rang. 4 people hurried to hide in the corner. It was the director. Why did he come here at night? The curator picked up a suitcase. He mumbled something about that idiot Yuda. If you hadn't read this, you wouldn't have been killed. But the curator didn't realize. Conan and the 4 of them heard all this. The curator tore off the seal of the book, put the book into the suitcase. At that moment, have you seen the weirdest elevator in the world? It's overloaded with 8 people standing in it. Unless there's an unseen adult here. The murderer of this case was revealed right from the start. It's the director of this library. The question is where the body is hidden. What's his motive? The 4 of them rushed to escape. They hid in the restroom. The librarian pushed open the door. No one was there. He thought it was an illusion. So he took his suitcase and went home. Conan rushed to look for clues. The case must have something to do with the books in the case that the curator had touched. The 3 of them got excited. The librarian downstairs sensed the light. Conan hurriedly extinguished the light. Then he looked at the square. He thought the curator had gone back. He breathed a sigh of relief. He continued to investigate the library, but he searched all the shelves. But I couldn't find the curator's secret book. At this time, a few strange books caught Conan's attention. There are no books on either side of these books. From either side, it is hard to find any abnormality. Conan opened these strange books. There were drugs hidden in them. So this is the curator's secret. He was a drug dealer. And the deceased Tameda, because he found out all this, that's why he was killed. Conan rushed to call the police, but the telephone line of the library was disconnected. They decided to find the body first, but in a place they couldn't see. The director of the library is watching all this. The 4 of them searched for it as soon as they could. They saw the bookshelves close together. They thought the body was inside. They pulled them apart one by one. But the last shelf was particularly heavy. It took a few of them to pull it apart, but there was nothing behind them. Conan thought Genta should be standing on the bookshelf. He couldn't move because of the bookshelf. At this moment, Conan realized the mystery of the elevator's overweight is solved. Conan went to the elevator control room, changed the elevator to manual mode. Then he opened the elevator door. The body rises slowly with the elevator. It turns out that Tameda was strangled to death. The murderer threw her on the ceiling of the elevator. Conan turned around and urged his friends to go to the police, but they all stayed at the same place with horror on their faces. The curator slowly rose with the elevator, came to the 4 of them, asked everyone why not go home, but he was holding the murder weapon in his hand. Conan pretended to be calm and talked about the motive of the curator. To attract his attention, the 3 of them also took the opportunity to escape into the elevator, and Conan also sprinted, dodged the curator's attack, rushed into the elevator. The curator ran downstairs and waited for him, but when the elevator opened, 4 people disappeared. He looked around. He found a room with a stool blocking the doorway. It looked like the kids were hiding in there. He caught a glimpse of a tilted bookshelf, and the books underneath. Looks like a trap. Conan's men pushed down the bookshelf. The curator just avoided it. The 4 of them were embarrassed, rushed to hide in the corner. The curator is getting closer and closer. Originally, Conan had already predicted the curator's prediction. The first bookshelf is a cover. The dominoes behind is the real trap. Afterwards, Inspector Takagi brought back the librarian successfully. This is the childhood shadow library murder incident.